Hey YouTube, it's been a while, but I'm back with a quick update video of sorts, but also some good things to meditate and ponder over in the form of a quick question. These are things that I've also been reflecting upon. So this quick question is, how much miscommunication and misunderstanding can you fix? Let me see if I can tie it all in together. For one, I apologize for the lack of updates recently with all the things that have been going on in the world, not only the political sector, the health sector. I just really haven't been feeling as motivated to create new content. But I did have a potentially new client reach out to me, Tom, who mentioned one of my past videos really helped him out. So I really appreciate that feedback. When I get to hear from the people that I'm able to reach, that gives me more motivation. The tricky thing with YouTube is you can make something of substance, but you get limited reach. But then you make something that has wider reach, and it's not quite substantiative, right? The other thing that's tricky is I try to speak very frankly. I try my best to make it seem like when I'm talking to the camera, that's how it's going to be when I'm talking and working with a client. I try to make it where the things that I've been making recently, they're tied to and they're pulled from my actual client sessions. I really don't want to become this YouTube personality. I don't want it to be, I flip on the switch and I'm super hyped or excited. I'm trying not to be boring. But if it's low key, if it's even tempered, setting the expectations right. And it is awkward talking in front of the camera. You probably see it if you go back and binge through some of the videos. It's not going to be always the most consistent because it depends on the mood on the day. Anyway, one thing that I do want to speak towards is with what I do with speech coaching, with what I do with conversation coaching, it's still a concept and practice that I really believe in. But one of the cornerstones I had at the beginning, I think it's changed over time. One of the things that really helped drive me and push me towards helping people with this front is because I believed that miscommunication is one of the biggest problems we have in the world. And it's not that has changed. If we talk about those political contexts, if we talk about the stuff that's going on with the coronavirus right now, how much miscommunication and misunderstanding is coming into play with those fields? A lot, right? But there's still bigger things going on, and I guess what I'm trying to say is if we want to make this as simple as possible. Okay. So the people who reach out to me, maybe they are frustrated with their own communication style. Maybe they're tired of being misunderstood. Okay. When you're working on your speaking skills, there are certain fundamentals that you want to make sure that you have in place. There are options for different techniques, ways to elevate aspects. And there are common mistakes that other people make that you want to make sure that you avoid. But then there's also a stylistic portion where that's never ending. You can always improve. You can always tweak. You can always adjust. These are all great things to explore. If you don't have a grasp on certain fundamentals, I'm happy to support that. For certain things that you do, it can be helpful to have a coach or an outsider, a third party, to give you that second opinion that, that thing that you were really concerned about, you're right, you need to cut back. Or sometimes that thing that you're really worried about, it's no big deal at all. No one else is going to notice that. Or I make the same mistake. Or that's actually what you should be doing. That's actually the more natural thing. Something that I always tell people, you want to get better, you want to seem more friendly and natural on camera. If that's something that you really want to do, that's fine. You can strive towards it. But you have to keep in mind, being awkward, feeling unnatural, not liking to be on camera, that is the normal reaction. These people who seem natural on camera, talking to something that's very artificial, some people have a talent for that, but that's not the natural reaction, okay? where am I going with this? Going back to the idea. How much miscommunication and misunderstanding can you fix? There are certain elements that you have control over, but the thing that has made me change, the thing that makes it tricky and complicated and frustrating for a lot of people is even if you got your game up to 100%, you know you're fully competent. That's not going to guarantee that there's not miscommunication and misunderstanding from the other side. So you got to remember that any good communication rapport requires two people. It cannot be solely on your own effort. And if you want to take it the negative way, it can be frustrating. Me, myself, I do get frustrated with that. It's like, wow, even with my best effort, that person went out of their way to put on their worst effort. And that's going to be people, right? But if you can get past that, if you can realize that, hey, it's not all on you, I hope that you can realize that you can be a little bit kinder to yourself. You don't put so much pressure on yourself. You can realize that even with 50% effort, well, stylistically, I still want to do these things. I still want to work to improve so I don't make these common bad mistakes. But if your fundamentals are good, you're connecting with the person, you have clear intentions, you don't treat it like a pass-fail situation as in the context of you're not grading yourself like a test, there's a lot of freedom. There's a lot of forgiveness. And sometimes going into a speaking context where, everybody can be nervous, everyone can stammer, everyone can hesitate and have a few awkward pauses. But if you go into a speaking situation where you are hating yourself or you are so on edge, other people are going to notice, and that's going to make them uncomfortable too. And maybe you think people are unwilling to engage with you because you're lacking certain skills, but sometimes people are unwilling to engage with you because you're just way too hard on yourself. So coming up on 7 minutes here, how would I boil this down? Okay. There are certain things that you can fix. There are certain things that are in your control, and you can work towards improving them. And if you want, I can help you with that. But you got to take it one step at a time. And you have to know that it's a gradual process, and be open to realizing that you don't have to have the complete package. You don't have to have it all together in order to have a really good conversation. Because even if you have that under control, even if you have all your eggs in the basket, everything on lock, everything prepped and drilled in, that is no guarantee because there's still the human element. It's not a game. It's not a dialogue tree. Sometimes flow charting, concepts I worked with clients, mind mapping, bubbling things out. When you're so scatterbrained, when you don't know how to organize your thoughts, that can be helpful. But you shouldn't treat it as a rule. If I say X, they will say Y, so I say Z. Do not look at conversations that way. Because what will happen is sometimes it will flow out that way. Wow, just like I drilled, just like it was on paper. And on the surface, seemingly, that might look like good conversation. But when you go back and you review it, it's going to be empty. And you didn't really get anything out of it. You only had the image of good communication. All right? A lot to unpack there. Any confusion, do let me know. I'm happy to clear things up. Probably what I should do is I will review this video myself. And maybe some of the things I mentioned, I can branch off and break them up and put them into smaller videos. But yeah, something that's been sitting with me, rethinking the importance of how much you should address and correct miscommunication and how much of it is your responsibility to avoid misunderstanding. If you're just ranting on and on, like I'm kind of doing in this video, it could probably serve you well to organize and work on your delivery. But don't work too hard on that. All right. As we're finishing up right here, thank you so much for watching. sorry, a little gassy. Give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Not so helpful, thumbs down. Be sure to share with your friends. Comment down below for any requests, any questions. You can always reach me directly on Twitter at COMMDAO. One more thing I want to say. I think I do have a theme for February, so videos might take a slightly different turn, but I hope that you guys can respond to those and we can build off of that. All right. Thanks again for watching. Calm down. Let's talk.